This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Okay.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Press 8.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, I have no idea what's about to happen, but I've heard good things about this game for
All of
years.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, I'll go to the left one to see what happens. Follow the story first. But now I see. Okay.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, this could be good. So there's so many different things that could happen because if you listen to him and then don't and all that, I think. But I'll listen the first time.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Was that supposed to happen? Because he said I couldn't know it, so...
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay, there's no way I'm supposed to be here. I did something wrong.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Why would I walk in there? Or escape? No. Bruh, it's so much cooler getting mind control. Come on, where's the aliens at?
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life.
What the heck?
Their
Kind of
true
Squid
nature
Game is
revealed.
this?
Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Who got fired? How is he the only one?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Why am I scared now? I don't know.
The proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would
I'm
dismantle...
turning on.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off.
They sound so evil right now.
And leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
Wait, what?
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe
he's just
you'll
yelling
find
at me
this
now.
pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
What if I just leave it on? Will something happen?
Detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say
About
2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun,
Okay,
isn't it, Stanley?
okay, I have
It's
to
your
wait,
time
though. I
to
have
shine.
to.
It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means.
Right, he does not
barely
stop
know
talking.
where. You'd like to know where your co-workers are. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to
Okay,
them.
I actually want to know this.
I erased them.
What?
I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you
Wait, so
sit
he's
there
the
in
one
your office
controlling
forever,
everyone.
pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested
I
away
wasn't,
from you.
I was just
it's
walking through,
quite
see what
rich.
happens.
I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My
But I know
goodness,
everything now, so
only
you can't trick
34
me.
seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why?
Bruh.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Did you
No, it's
just
that I gotta
assume
stand here
you
for an
saw a
extra 2
timer?
minutes.
Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only
I
still
know, but I
playing
wanna see
instead of
what
watching
happens.
a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
Oh my god,
30
wait,
seconds
what?
Until a big
I didn't think
boom, and
something
then
was actually gonna
no
happen.
ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. What
do you mean? I'm
it's
just
all
waiting.
the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I
no
say
way.
happily ever after.
Okay. I'm sorry.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So he's just gonna act like nothing
When
happened.
Stanley
I'll listen,
came to
I'll
a
listen,
set
I'll
of
listen.
two
I'm sorry,
open
I'm sorry, I'll
doors,
go.
he
I'll
entered
go.
the...
Alright, so I'll just
Stanley
wait. Don't
was
put the
once
code,
again
because I'm not supposed to know.
stunned. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
I don't know, and I'm not putting it, because...
Stanley just sat
okay,
around
okay.
twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Yep. I couldn't.
2845.
Yep.
For God... But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in.
But there's
and the
no
door
way.
just
I thought that's what I did wrong.
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Wait, so what did I do wrong then?
Through the large door that read
Oh, I'll
Mind
escape this on
Control.
that.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it,
Wait, what?
the truth was that at the end of this hall,
Chill out.
Stanley would meet his violent death.
Guys, chill out, please, because I'm actually terrified now.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I mean, I kind of have to now. I just go, I'm closing my...
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise,
Wait, there's the...
it reflected that
Oh
his
my
life had
God.
been... Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh my god, chill out. Okay, bro.
Farewell,
What?
Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body,
I'm scared.
killing him instantly.
What?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
I'm just restarting myself.
What
I
exactly
think.
did the narrator think he was going to
Maybe.
accomplish?
But what is this,
When every
though?
path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes
Wait,
meaningless,
what am I playing
making
right now?
life the same. Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start? How they both wish to be free. But listen to me.
What is that?
You can
I thought
still
that was someone
save
walking.
these two. You can
What?
stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to
I'm
beat
not
this
doing that.
game.
I'm not.
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let
How did I
time
just?
choose
Why
for you.
did the
Don't let
narrator
time-
change? What happened to the other guy? Like, I knew it was different, but why was she still here?
Stanley decided to go up to his
I could go
staircase.
downstairs. I'll go
Stanley
downstairs.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
There's no way. Where
But
am
Stanley
I?
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had
Oh.
left his post during work hours.
Yeah, it's a good
He
excuse
might
for
be
him.
fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out
Why
of
do I
existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Like the same
None
room
of
as
it
in
made
between.
any
Wait, no.
logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example,
Yes, that
why
I'm going in a
couldn't he
circle
see
or
his
something.
feet
Oh.
when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is
Stop
all
talking 'cause I'm
too
scared.
strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined
Or just realize
himself
it's real and
flying
do something.
and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Wait, he's
It
either
was
magic
so
or actually
much
dreaming.
fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found
You're
it
just a narrator,
particularly
bro. Chill out.
strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it
But do I
all
have to keep
very
walking? Should I
odd
just stand
and
here and
wondered
listen?
if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want.
No, don't just restart.
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
There is no way that actually didn't work.
Stanley began screaming. Please,
What?
someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am
scared.
I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Wait, what?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day.
He just be talking, he does not stop.
The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Let's try this again, because
Go
a
to the
lot of
meeting
stuff
room.
happened last
Perhaps
time. I never went to this
Stanley
side yet,
came
so
to
I'm
a
going this
set of-
side.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room,
I'm
and
sorry.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room
It does look kind of
worth
nice, though,
admiring.
so, yep.
It had really been worth the detour after all. Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, you see, I'm not doing that.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that
I hate when he
your
just
trust
talks
in
to me.
someone, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley.
I didn't think it would cut him
To
off.
put
I think he's talking about our
to
wife.
let
So.
her back into your life. She's been waiting.
What the heck?
That's her, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
I can't move.
I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Did you actually think you had a loving wife? Who
This
wanna
is why I
commit
don't
their
listen
life
to you, bro.
Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
So what if I go this way then?
Sorry,
Oh
but
my
you're in
god,
my
I
story
swear to
now.
god I jumped.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
This game is crazy, bro.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him. and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
But I want to watch TV, though. I don't watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished.
No. Oh my God, I know what's happening. This is the office still. Oh my God, it's going to start changing.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Oh.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Now you make me look stupid when you say it like that.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. Someone was following Stanley.
Wait, what? Chill out. You can't just say that.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
you don't even know.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
He's gonna tell me go back.
No, not the right. Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes.
Why am I here again?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable.
No, it's not. I've seen this already.
Rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
Stop.
And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
How did I break the game?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Wait, I know something I didn't do. I'll actually go left this time.
Wait, what?
Okay, never mind. What the heck?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room?
How
with all
could
the
I
monitors?
have done anything?
Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
You can't...
Let's find the story. Do we need to restart the game again?
Sure, wait.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Stop. Oh my, there's no doors now.
Yep,
what are you
it's
doing,
worse.
man?
I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Okay, what is happening now? What? Wait,
Well,
what is
I'll be
all
honest,
this?
I don't recognize this place at all.
It looks so, like, realistic kind of.
I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Oh, wait, what?
Congratulations!
What the heck?
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So,
yes, I did.
Good job. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both
You already
know
gave me
you
the
didn't
win.
put in any actual work for that win.
What are you?
Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
What?
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Okay,
All
but
right,
what is this?
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
This has
Just
never been the
follow
right way,
line.
though.
How simple is that?
I actually do want to follow it, so chill.
You see? The line knows where the story is.
Yeah, but
it's
we never
over
went
in
this way.
direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what?
Oh, I wasn't
I
even-
think what we
wasn't-
need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Okay. That's not...
Cut the music, go back, and look at that fern.
Why? I can't just listen to everything you say, because then I'm gonna look
Wait,
stupid.
what? We're back at the office? No.
Bro, all the random doors are opening. This is crazy. Nothing good ever happens when we go in there, though.
Oh,
The story really is
no,
different every
no,
time,
not
though, it's
again,
actually-
Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley?
Brian.
I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent
Okay.
people, right? How about this direction? Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well,
In
it
a
could be anything.
plain hallway with nothing
What do you
in it.
want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
Yeah, so
no
get
lines
him out of
or
here.
monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah,
This is
a
new.
choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
You
and
don't just
that'll
open the door and let me
turn.
walk through one.
There
I'm
is
actually
clearly
getting tired
yes.
of that. What is that?
You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
Wait, what? That's kind of crazy.
Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget?
I'm
what
saying,
if I
like,
don't
you
wanna
can't just be
forget?
telling us this because we know.
My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing.
Wait, that means
side.
since the very
Why don't
first
I get a
playthrough. Wait,
no,
no
it
way,
can't
because
be.
I only been recording for
I don't
19
want
minutes.
I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I
Alright.
won't do it.
Just gonna stand here, I guess. Let me sit down and leave.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The,
We did that a couple
whatever it
times
is
now.
that made this schedule? How would we even know? Well, in the meantime, if you...
What the heck is that?
New content? What does that mean?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As
Okay.
you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Oh my.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? Why don't we just reset the game? And we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
I'm pretty sure I'm still in the confusing ending, by the
frills.
way. Okay.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Don't kill me in here, though. I'm not gonna lie, there's no way I'm going down there. Sorry, I know we're kind of like friends now, or something like that. Wait, did I just break the confusing ending? And it takes 20 minutes to get over there. I'm not doing that again.
For he
Yeah, exactly. So how do I
dismantle the
Yep. Okay.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes.
What
He
is
had
happening?
won.
What?
He had defeated
This
the
game
machine,
is crazy.
unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever
Looks
life he
beautiful with that
lives,
music and everything.
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Please actually let me go.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
No way.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
I saved his life. But wait, I beat the game. What? Wait, that's crazy.
Stanley! Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? But it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
What kind of dungeon?
Just our little secret.
Oh my
Take a
god.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life
It's one of the craziest
whenever
games I've
I
ever
want.
played.
Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was.
Wait, what?
It was literally
So that one
every
was
game
better?
ever created. It was Skyrim.
Oh, at the time,
It
at the
was
time, at the
Persona
time.
3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing.
What do I
More
care about the
choices
game
I've
reviews
ever
for,
been
bruh?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the Memory Zone before. What's
kinda
this?
cool,
What's
though.
down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam. Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art.
I'm just
Like
thinking
I
about
let
it. How did
these
I get
people
here
down.
from a normal
Perhaps
office? I've been playing for an hour and so much
constantly,
happened.
so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. There
I
a
was thinking
skip
about
button.
that. But it just gets cut off.
A skip button. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot.
What? I'm back.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy
that sounds
ruminations
good.
on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of
I'm guessing we're gonna be here for a
self-absorption-
while, so just do it. Don't even
Okay,
know.
welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes.
Oh my.
It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate,
All right, go on,
I
then.
do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and Stanley,
You're the one that's
please
talking.
don't
Come
push the
on, move
button
on
again.
then.
I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it. Oh, Stanley, you're
Oh my.
back.
Wait, what the
You're
heck?
back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week.
All right, my bad, bro.
Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that
You
it's
got
exactly the same
4
as
seconds.
always? Doesn't that feel like what's you? You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me
Wait.
describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret.
Things I'm trying to hear about that. Is he dead? Stanley? Or whatever? Narrator?
But they didn't understand
Oh.
the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They
He doesn't know I'm
bemoaned, they
here, just-
screamed, they
Okay.
gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability, it's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart.
Bro, I just gotta keep going at this point, see if anything
The
happens.
end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the
That might be one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Just look at it, bro. Wait, how long has it been? Oh, even this is the narrator ever coming back? I'll just run. I'm free. Is it actually new this time or is it jumping
Oh,
again?
forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Okay. This looks
Yes,
promising,
you
actually.
see, isn't this far superior
Yes.
to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel.
No, like how-
An entirely new
This is
experience.
not the same
built from
Office
the
game I
ground
was-
up.
started
Why are there so
playing.
many possibilities? It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Like he's saying
Now,
all
to be
that, all this
clear,
new stuff,
I
but
haven't
it's
quite
still the
nailed
same
down
game.
what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Wow, this game is actually
goodness.
crazy.
Stanley, this is very awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to both the exhibits for the bucket and the collectibles. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves both of them. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the collectibles and the bucket.
Bro, I need that skip button back. Why is that so funny?
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video
I
game?
just got a bucket now, bro.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? First and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will
Oh
say
my, this
your
game
name,
is so
whatever name
bad,
that
bro. Bring it
is.
back to the original.
Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to... Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you
Bro, I'm
don't
falling
properly
asleep.
roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button.
Why do I
Otherwise,
have a
it's just
bucket still?
stupid
What-
button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim. playing frisbee on the weekends as gym, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as gym, developing a crippling substance addiction as gym, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as
He's
gym,
never gonna
and
stop.
finally dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim.
What is he talking
Do you
about?
feel it in your soul?
Kinda.
Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill!
kinda
What
cool
a
that
rush!
sound.
That was you! The button described you! Do it again, do it again!
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. I suppose I could allow
in
only
here?
people named Jim to play. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later. Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no
Can't tell if I'm
reward
moving.
for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
What?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right.
Am I actually gonna get stuck in here, though?
You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
It would have to stop eventually. Alright.
Since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Is that real?
Great.
Please? Thank you.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
I
Here
guess,
it
yeah.
is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
What?
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Okay, bro.
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well,
You got intense, we might
insert
be
a
getting
few of
somewhere.
my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay. Like, what is happening right now? He just made an entire new game in the same game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building
balloon.
where something that would forever change Stanley.
It's literally the same thing.
Something he would
so
never
far.
quite forget. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
Okay, the
All
only
of
thing
his
different so
co-workers
far is the
were
balloon.
gone.
Is that a thing
Someone else
collectible?
could-
Yeah,
The
actually added
story
this.
is-
But I'm not gonna lie, it's just the same thing. I feel like I did a lot of stuff. I know it's probably a lot more, but I might play again some other time. Wait, what? Look, it's always gonna be 2 now, probably, or something.